Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? This is your girl, Kwamia. I am coming to you live in color on this amazing Tuesday evening where we are talking, speaking, chatting, and we are going in on the topic of settling out of shame. And we're diving deep. Tonight, I have an amazing co-host that came together. We are bringing this amazing epic show together, and her name is Reka Robinson, and I see my girl in the building already. Yes. And we're about to actually get this conversation started. We're going deep. We're diving into it. Make sure you guys comment, like, share. Also put some hearts in, the building, as well as make sure you send this to people that needs to hear this conversation. How you doing, boo?
Kwamia, what's up, girl? Happy Tuesday. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Look, I'm over here like, oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go in.
So as you guys could see, here go my co-host
Yeah.
by the name of Reka Robinson. Tell the
Yes, ma'am.
people who you are, what you do, and what's the great gifts that you bring to this planet that's called life.
Okay. So in the interest of time, I'll say this. The reason why you asked me to come on your platform and have this conversation with you is because of what I do right now in my life, being the single girl's life coach. So I'm a certified neuro-linguistic programming coach, working towards my psychology degree. I'm putting it out there and I'm trusting in God that somebody one day is just going to pay for my degree, as I'm getting these credits one by one. But anyway, with that, I am here. I believe that God in this season in my life, being a 38-year-old woman of faith, God is dope. With no kids, have always just kind of held my own by myself. I believe that God in this season has me to be a light for single women. And that stems from getting out of my emotionally abusive relationship in 2017, which at that time I didn't know it was abuse because nobody tells us these things, right? Like, where was the violence? There was none in that relationship, so I didn't know that I was being abused. But anyway, when I got out of that relationship, I heard God say, I will use this story. And girl, let me tell you, when I was like, what story? Because you ain't about to use nothing. Because I'm not telling nobody, not a damn thing about what I just went through. Absolutely not doing that. And so it took me about 3 months and really a solo trip to Mexico by myself when I was reading The Purpose Driven Life by Pastor Rick Warren. And Pastor Rick Warren in that book says that your greatest shame will be the thing that heals others. And I was like, damn it, because I was embarrassed. That I come from a 2-parent household. I had a wonderful childhood. I went to Howard University. I'm this radio personality. Like, I just thought that I was so smart that I would never go through something like that. And so I was extremely embarrassed and very shameful. But then I was like, well, I say I'm a faith-based woman and I'm supposed to listen to God, so let me go ahead and listen to this calling. And then I started sharing, and it started out just a blog, and now here we are a few years later. I have Single You Academy, which is my online coaching program for single women that need to hear that singleness is not a punishment. So here I am.
Absolutely. Listen, I always tell people, and one thing, a message I say is turning your pain into purpose and just, turning a negative to a positive. And I also came from out of abusive relationship over about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was physical.
Okay. Yeah.
I definitely know the difference of it. And what made me actually leave that is the fact is that I'm like, one, I had lost a cousin who didn't make it. And I'd be damned to shame her name.
Yeah.
Knowing the fact that I should know better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was definitely time for me to actually get out. But when I know that you had posted this post and you was having your podcast on live, I was like, hold up, wait a minute. And I'm telling you, a lot of stuff that you say be hitting me. I be like, ooh, wait a minute. Come on down.
Listen, it's supposed to. I want to chokehold single women with love, though. Like, listen, can we just have a real honest conversation. But yes, go ahead.
Yes. So when you, I can't remember terms of what it is, but when that day I went into the comments and I was like, absolutely, that really resonated with me. And you was like, what part? And I said that it was the part where, I can't remember. Oh my God. It was the part where in regards to, you said that, I know something came from out of shame or something like that.
Staying in relationships due to sexual shame. I think it was that one.
Yes. And then that's
Yep.
when I end up saying something about, yes, settling out of shame
Yeah.
is something that we shouldn't definitely end up doing. And that's what, however, that's what we do.
Yep.
And that's when you hit me back and you was like, oh, topic.
Yep. 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 Yep.
So tonight, here we go. We have birthed a baby.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And so tonight is settling out of shame. So in regards to basically women settling, because I know we do and we have, and if no one, I know a lot of them probably, no, I haven't, but we have. And so when you see in regards to women, what can you say about women that settle out of shame or just settle in regards? Because I see a lot of women nowadays in 2021, about to be 2022, are settling. And I even had conversation with my guy friends. And they be giving it to me deep. And they sat there and say, normally a lot of women will end up staying with men who basically is financially supporting them. They drive their little Lamborghinis, they BMWs, got them in nice houses, giving them the black cards. And they will be okay with them stepping out of that relationship long as they are getting what they want with their lifestyle, body. And I'm like, what? So it's like, to me, like we are really going to the nick of the gritty, to the gutter of actually settling and just letting things just be done.
Yeah. Yeah. So first of all, hey, Keitra, I love you too, girl. Okay. So let's take it down to the topic that you and I discussed, which was sexual shame. And then we'll kind of go around, around and dig deep and up and down and whatever. But what I was talking about on that video for my clients are faith-based women. And we say we have all this faith in God. And we'll say that I believe in Jesus and blah, blah, blah. And unfortunately, the messages that we got from church, especially us millennials. Now I'm 38. I don't know.
I'm 40.
Okay.
So we right behind each other.
Yep, exactly. Right there. So if you grew up in the church, either it was told to you or it was implied that your goal in life, because it's not good for man to be alone, is to get married and have kids. And it's also, and you better keep your legs closed before you do get married. Like you keep your legs closed, and then when you get married, have all the sex you want, right?
Yeah.
But there's no teaching around how to do that, why, and we don't really grasp onto our whys. And now it's not our fault before we're 18, but once you're 18 and you say that you believe in God, and this is a whole nother conversation, maybe, you need to actually do your own studying of the Bible, have your own relationship with God, right? And so these are things that I did not do, even though my dad would tell me your greatest relationship needs to be your relationship with God. So anyway, so then what happens is we come out in the real world, especially at college, especially when I was at Howard University, and you slip up. You slip. Oh God. Oh my God. Oh my God. And then when you hit 30, right? So me, I'm 38 and my emotionally abusive relationship was 32. So then when you get older and you don't get the goal in life and you are operating in a space of what society tells you should do in relationships, which is have sex, right? Because they make it seem like it is the price, the cost, the admission to dating to have sex before you get married. So you do it. And then you're like, well, I don't want another body. Now I feel guilty. You're still living in this guilt of having sex before marriage. And you are feeling all of this guilt. And then you're trying to please God. You're trying to please society. So then you bypass this guy's red flags. Boom. You've already had sex with them because you do it in the first 2 weeks or what have you. And then you're like, okay, well, now this relationship has to work because I don't want another body. Exactly. And so you have all this shame about having sex before marriage that now you're like, well, I have to make it work with him. So now you're asking God to make alterations, even though God never said that man was for you. And I would also like to say this. I have a whole episode on my podcast about waiting till marriage, the wait and all of that. Whatever your choice is your choice. I'm not here to judge anybody. Right. I'm not here to judge anybody. But for that particular woman who was like, I don't want another body, so now I have to make it work with him, so I'm going to stay. That's what I was talking about for the shame. And there's other layers of shame and what have you. But I just wanted to make that point. And yes, there are women. There's two types of women. The woman who wants to be taken care of, so you'll settle for him with the Lambos, like you said. But then there's the other woman who wants to nurture and heal this man and take care of him, and he ain't doing ish for you, because both of these women are just like, but I just want to get the ring because that makes me valuable in society. That's the only thing that makes me a valuable woman, when I'm trying to say, girl, you are worthy regardless of your relationship status, period.
Yes. And this is what I definitely say when it comes to Pillow Talk with the T. And just even before I created my podcast, is that I was always telling women in my community, around me, in college, my friends, my family, whoever will basically listen to the words that are coming out my mouth, would end up basically, I would tell them in regards of, know who you are, who you are, learn who you are, and and to be able to stand in your power. And just walk into your power, because also I see in regards to that, sex has put a lot of shame on it due to the fact that I am a kid who was raised in the church, basically 4 days a week in the church.
Girl.
Like, you live, breathe, eat, sleep, whatever. Don't let it be the holiday seasons. So in regards to that, it was just the fact is I used to look around and be like, wow, but at the same time, you telling us that we should marry this man, be the wife, and create a beautiful home and image and everything for him, and also into the church, like, create this image. But at the same time, we put so much shame on sex, when, first of all, where do you think all these Christian babies running around come from? So
yeah, I got questions.
I'm just confused, because I know last time I checked, in anatomy, you have to have sex.
Yeah.
But so it's just so crazy, because now, even it being in 2022, you have women that's 40, 50, 60 years old, that's even older than us, have this questioning in regards of standing in their power and turning sex into shame, as I witness and see.
Yeah.
And then it goes to the fact of they settling out of shame, as you say, because they don't want to have the body count.
Yep.
And as far as the fact is that, oh, my family, my friends, my church, my community gonna be like, oh, girl, oh my God. And then of course you got your girlfriends in your ear like, oh, well, why you didn't make that work? Why did you do everything? So it's like, why have so much on a woman to make it work? Because that it's two people in this relationship.
Yep. And I was gonna say again, so now that I know you grew up in church like me, again, the thread for women, especially little Black girls, is your value is only placed when you get picked. That's it. So now if you can't keep a man, we are going to blame you, just like you said. So of course, if the relationship doesn't work, we feel like a failure. That is why we have our 60, 70-year-old mothers and grandmothers still in relationships where this man has been dogging her since they was 19. But you stayed because God hates divorce. Okay, well, first of all, can we actually have a reset and figure out who you are first? Like where we are so focused on in school. I just did this post on my Facebook. When I see little girls, like, you know, yesterday was Halloween. Was it yesterday? No, Sunday was Halloween, and I was at this trick-or-treat event. And I see little girls, and I always wonder, I wonder how many heartbreaks is she going to have to go through before she actually understands that she can stop all that nonsense and stop all that foolishness, because we are so focused on her learning her ABCs and the capitals of the United States, right? But ain't nobody in jail because they don't know the capital of Idaho. But there are so many people struggling, whether in jail or not, because they don't know how to control their emotions, because they don't know who they are. So where are these self-actualization classes, right? So I don't know if you know the hierarchy of needs, but but Maslow, and you guys can Google that, it's a psychology thing. The bottom two are housing and like food and stuff. But there are other two pillars that my lane is in, where it's self-love, belonging, and esteem. We need that to actually, we need all of that to actually self-actualize. But we are turning 18 and we are skipping right over self-actualization to marriage and kids. And how well has that worked out for us?
Not enough.
Look at us.
Not,
Running around in foolishness.
Look
at us.
Not well at all. And see, and that's the thing. I refuse. See, me, I think, I know I was rebellious of how I'm supposed to be in going by the book and going by the word. And as I grew up to end up knowing God for myself and end up saying that I am not religious, but I'm definitely spiritual. And again, that's a whole different because in that book I don't agree with. So in regards to that, I ended up being I was in my rebellious stage, especially when I went to college. And I feel like when we do go to college, we now out our parents' house.
Nope.
We now out our parents' house to the fact that now, like, oh, we free, we can do whatever, we can go sleep when we want to, we can do, ain't nobody tell us anything. It's because it's all on us. So in regards to that, I'm sorry, college kids, I love you guys, my HBCUs and all that, but that's where we get our most bodies from. I'm telling you, because
and 100%.
Trying to figure out who we are, what is our lane, what is our purpose, what is our passion, and then we trying to find ourselves as men and women and trying to figure out, okay, do I like a man like this? Do I want a woman like this? Do I like these things? And we have to take a lot of L's before we get to the W's.
Listen, let me tell you something. So I'm from Seattle, Washington. Go Hawks all day. Russell Wilson's my quarterback. And I grew up in Kent, which is a suburb of Seattle. And back then I was like one of, 10 Black kids, right? So then you take me from Kent, Washington at 18 years old, you pick me up and you say, okay, I'm going to throw you in Chocolate City in Washington, D.C. at the Howard University, the Mecca, and good luck. Girl, let me tell you, I had never, that attention that I got from Black men from everywhere, down south, New York, DC, whatever, I was my head exploded and I lost my loving mind. I lost my mind. I had never seen that beautiful. I'd never seen men that beautiful in my life. So of course I lost my mind because I did not actually know myself until after that, and really not until 2017 when I really went on the journey, because it is a journey and you have to be intentional with it. You can't just say, I say this a lot on my podcast and on my platform. If I asked you, if we was at the club, girl, and the DJ was like, all the women in here who know their worth, scream, we would all scream, I know my worth. But unless it's actually showing up in your life with actions, with boundaries, you actually don't. You can't say that you know your worth and you're letting people, including men, treat you like yesterday's trash. How do you know your worth? Sure. You can sing the song with the rest of them, like, the Drake song, know yourself, know your worth. And you over here going on trips in Tulum and brunches with friends. But when you are in your secret place, you are crying over a dude, you feel trash, you feel less valuable, you don't have confidence, but you running around telling everybody you know your worth. Do you though? Exactly.
And to me, that goes behind to the fact of faking it until we make it. And it's like, but why we have to do that? Why can't just end up pulling back the layers and actually digging deep into ourselves, able to reach down to end up reconstructing, rebuilding, and start to end up knowing our true worth. So when that song do come on, you are standing in the truth of what
you are standing in your truth. Yep. I call it the fake it till you make it. I call it your performing confidence. Because you think you want to be that confident single woman. You want to, and you think that's where you're supposed to be, right? Like, that makes me the coolest woman in the room. Nobody wants to be the girl who's allowing her boyfriend to treat her like trash. Nobody. So of course you're going to be like, I know my worth. But baby, you can be full of inspiration and full of ignorance at the same damn time. So until you actually go on a true self-love journey, which doesn't mean getting advice from friends or just being at women empowerment events and it not actually showing up in your life. And I understand most of us don't know where to start, right? Because again, they were drilling in ABCs and the capitals of states in school. Nobody actually gave you tools. or told you how to start a self-love journey, what that looks like. And it's not a one size fits all, but I will say that is why I created Single You Academy, because I'm here to give you a launching pad of who you are first. I want you to know who you are deeper than your favorite color is blue.
Exactly.
Well, I like long walks on the beach, and I like poodles, and okay, but what are your triggers? Why do you do the things that you do? How do you explain yourself when somebody's like, so who are you? Can you say something outside of, well, I'm a mom and my job, I'm in IT, and you got to know who you are down to the nitty gritty, or at least be on that journey, because it is a journey. Even though I've been on it since 2017, there are still things that I'm learning about myself. And plus we change and we grow or whatever. But the core of me and what I know and who I am in order to get the relationship I want, oh, I'm there. I'm there. So that's what I want for us.
Yeah, and listen, that's what I want for us too, because I feel like knowing the fact that I'm there and I know that you are there and you know the feeling of how it really truly feels.
Yep.
You be like, damn, I just don't want to keep this amazing feeling of knowing who I truly is, and I want to share this with the other women because damn, y'all need to know this feeling too. So it's like our mission is to be like, hey, ladies, come on, let's wake up. Like,
wake up.
Sleeping. Because we need to know that, because again, it goes to the fact of like just settling out of shame, and just the fact of you don't want to collect bodies, but you sitting there because of the fact of that. But also just you not knowing yourself, because I hear like even what you just said with a lot of women, they say I'm a mom, I'm this, I'm that. You'll tell me everything on the surface, but when to the interior, I need to know the core of the premise. So it's like, and I hear a lot of women, because sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I put my sisters to the test because I'm like, who are you? Do you know who you are? And of course they give me that basic, and I'm like, no. That's the surface. I want to know the core. Who are you? I shake them with that, and they be like, and there's a lot of women that's in marriages, in relationships, or in the long-term common law relationships.
Girl. Knowing they don't even want to be that. They just don't want to be alone. So another like settling out of shame. I know we were on the sex part a lot, but another piece is because you don't want to be single, because single to you feels like failure. You don't want to be alone. But I'm like, do you want company or do you want a partner? Because trust me. Okay, so I've been celibate. It'll be 3 years next month. Go Reka. Go Reka. Okay.
You do that because I can't do that, Reka.
Well, I will say this. Again, I never tell my clients, and shout out to Keitra, she's one of my clients, and she says Single You Academy. I never tell my clients, I'm not in the telling business. I'm in the holding you accountable to the things that you say that you want, okay? And helping you be transformed by the renewing of your mind. I'm here to teach you principles, because I don't believe that the Bible is a dictatorship. It's not a you do this and you go into hell. It is more of this is the story of Jesus, and here's some principles that can help you live a better life on earth, heaven on earth, right? So I teach principles, and one of them for me is you reap what you sow and all of that. And I just knew that having sex was getting me nowhere. It was trash. And honestly, now that I've seen Sex, Love, and Goop on Netflix, Jada's Red Tail, all of these, I have in this 3 years, right? So I was intentional. I said, I need to heal a lot of sexual shame that I have. And so I dove deep into books, working through that stuff with my coach, with myself, and really getting a grasp of who I am sexually. When I want to have sex, why am I going to have sex? Because trust me, I used to believe that like, oh my God, now I'm not going to ever get the relationship that God wants me to have because I had sex before marriage, right? I used to be in that religious space. And it's not true. And again, that was a whole conversation I had with a pastor on my podcast to break that down. So I am 3 years celibate next month. I am super proud of myself. But again, this
is amazing, because I've been single for 5 years.
Okay.
And in those 5 years, I have been definitely digging deep and, you know, peeling back the layers of the onions and all that. I mean, going down to the nitty gritty, to the fact that even my therapist was like getting butt naked into front of the mirror and look at you. I mean, I'm work and doing the work and doing the job. And sometimes I'm telling you, Sundays is my days when my therapist and I meet on Zoom, and like I swear I be emotionally drained, but at the same time you be really like elevated and rewarding after the fact of everything, because you be like, okay, that's another hurdle or another accomplishment or something that you actually dig deep down into. So at the same time, I'm not going to say within those 5 years, even though I've been single, I'm not going to sit there and say the first beginning was a little challenging. I was like, listen, I'm a sexual appetite, and this is like, oh my God. Of course, then that's when I realized if I do, I said, and this is what Pillow Talk with the Tea, I'm very blunt and candid. So anybody coming from Reka's platform, you'll get to know your girl. So in regards to that, I sat there and said, let me get me some toys. Yeah. Because that would end up allowing me to continue to move forward. And so if I can, at the end of the day, we still human.
Yep.
And it just happened. And I don't want to end up going in this journey of moving forward, peeling back these layers, doing my therapy, doing the work, doing all this, getting butt naked and bearing all my flaws and all that. But that comes to my sexual appetite, I'm reverting backwards. You know what I'm saying? Making that detour. So I'm like, no, because at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be very transparent. When I did make those detours, I felt like I was taking myself 20 steps backwards.
Yep.
To where all the work I did, and I'm sitting there like, oh, damn, I just wanted that. And where that little 20, 15, maybe an hour of sex.
For nothing.
And just made me go back. So I'm still feeling the same way I'm feeling. So I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? So my therapist, she even said, she was like, no, go to the toy store. You need to get some toys. Because at the end of the day, you don't need to be putting your energy and end up having body counts or even continue to go revert back to the old people, because you know, because everyone know that one guy that you know that give you that bang good
girl
to him. And it's like, but at the same time, knowing the fact I didn't feel good after I did it, even though it felt good in the moment, but afterwards I was like, damn. So it's like, what the hell are you doing, Qua?
Let me tell you, listen, I went, so from 2017 to about mid 2018, I was celibate. And then I slipped up because I had a dude coming and showing me the world. And that's my whole $10,000 boyfriend. And that is another episode of my podcast, Single You the Podcast. But after we had sex and he broke up with me because I had it two together, God said, no, actually, I think this came from the devil. The devil was laughing at me and he was like, was it worth it? And I was like, damn, man. Like, so that 20-step back thing, like, it was never worth it, especially, and you talk about you real, I'm real too. Like, especially because I can't say that any of the men that I have been with actually blew my mind, especially, like I said, from what I know now. So it definitely wasn't worth it. So unless we can actually get to the nitty gritty of what sex is and what sex and how we're actually going to have sex and how we're going to please each other, then I don't want it. I'm not doing this like, oh, well, my vagina, she's telling me you the one, what's up? I'm not doing that no more. And so now, like I said, I'm 3 years in because I am done. And I would rather people use a toy than a body until they figure it out. And then what's going to work for you? You got to figure that out instead of just out here dating and settling thinking, oh, well, the price of admission to dating in this society is sex.
Yeah.
Because even if it was, guess what? Then I guess I ain't never, ever having sex again. Because I will not give you my body just because I think this is the price that it takes to date. I'm cool.
Exactly. And that's exactly what ended up making me do that as well. Because again, I feel like I was basically just pushing myself back and taking all the work I did. And it was just being like, what the hell you do? Yeah. And at the same time, I was also feeling like, now in these days, as I see my friends, my marriage friends, my engaged friends, my single friends, I'm looking like this. And it's like both worlds, you have your ups and downs. Marriage is seasons. So it's not like everything is peaches and cream. So what you looking at the fact of the dynamic or who the people that's who they chose, and you looking at the dating scenes of your single friends, and like you looking like, I don't want this shit.
Yeah,
like
at all.
I'd rather be a toy collector, play with myself, have fun, continue my work, continue my journey, and knowing the fact. And then when I stop doing that, and I end up basically taking her advice to end up getting the toys and start to just be one with myself, I've seen so much growth and elevation in things my way. I see that because I was working and trusting the process and the journey, things that I was doing and pouring out into the universe was giving back to me because I see you.
And I was going to say, do you see the clarity that you get when you are not collecting bodies? When you were like, you know what? I don't need you. I'm valuable without you. My value's in God. I'm dating God. Like I can see a red flag from a mile away.
Yeah. The clarity was so clear. There was no more rose-colored glasses. It was points that it clearly was so clear. I was like, what the hell? Sometimes it will scare you because you were like, damn, but did I see this before? But of course we didn't, because we were so blind and toxic with so much of other people's energy, their body counts, and we didn't know ourselves.
Well, and speaking of not knowing ourselves, because we didn't know ourselves, we would gaslight ourselves, right? So as we were talking about earlier, my first pillar in Single You Academy is know who you are deeper than your favorite color is blue, right? So your triggers, your whys, and whatnot. So I'm going to give you an example. What I did not see in myself before, and what I see now that is so clear, is I like attention. I do. And when I would get it from men, I would play that up and I would be so happy, and I would try to make him like me more. Like, does he like me? I'm tap dancing for me. Look at me morph and shape shift. And the type of woman you like, I could be her. Look at me. And I would do that. And so now I have learned that about myself. So now I watch myself when I'm talking to men, and I want to make sure I stay in the space of, do I actually even like him? Exactly. Like, this is somebody's dusty son. Do I even like him? Like, let me figure that out before I'm like, okay, this is what I can add. Because yes, I do think relationships, we should both be adding value to each other's lives. You don't make me valuable though. I am worthy regardless of my relationship status. So so I had to learn, like, okay, I like attention. And so that's why I would pass up red flags. So instead of being in a space of, does he like me? I'm staying in the space of, do I like him?
True.
And not with an attitude. I don't have attitude. I don't have bitterness. I just know, right. It's just like, I am allowed to say that.
Exactly. Just like you are allowed to say no, which a lot of people seem like was holding back to, like, I don't want to say no. Like, I must. This man approached me, so I must say yes.
Oh, girl. Yes, that feeling guilty.
Act like I'm interested in him, maybe give him my friend number. And it's like, why we got to do all that and spare all that energy when if you're not interested? And that goes back also to the fact that that clarity, it showed me and gave me the power of me saying no, and without attitude, without being a big black woman, without being an angry black woman and all that. It's just the fact that I'm just not interested. No, thank you, but I appreciate it.
And I was going to say, and it's biblical, right? Because so the Bible says, guard your heart, right? Because that's the wellspring of life. Everything in your life flows through that. It flows through that. So the more you're allowing men to run you over, treat you like trash because you're settling, the more bitter you're going to be. So I had to get rid of that bitterness. I had to stop seeking closure from men, because the closure is, we just done. Okay. And really go on this healing journey. And I'm going to give you 3 questions. So you watching, you can walk away with some tools. Now, if you need a coach, Single You Academy is open. But when I went on my solo trip in December of 2017 for Christmas, there were 3 questions that I went with. And I was like, okay, who am I? Who does God say I am? And how am I going to show up in this world from now on? So a lot of women are like, how do I become a confident single woman? Or how do I discover my worth? I say, who is the woman you want to be? Okay. And they'll say it. And I say, okay, now do everything in your power to become her. And one day you're going to wake up and just be her. Exactly. But you're going to have to figure out what that looks like. What are
Yeah.
your actions? What are your boundaries? Who you saying no to? Who you saying yes to? Because you show yourself you love yourself in your boundaries.
Yes.
Again, as we were talking about earlier, you
Jesus.
can be.
Come on now.
Do I need to say it again?
Yes.
It is in your boundaries that you show yourself you love yourself. Period. It doesn't matter what you say. I know myself, we were saying earlier, you can be full of inspiration, but full of ignorance at the same time. So all of the podcasts and women empowerment events you go to, you still do not love yourself if you are allowing people to treat you like trash. I want to pull you out of that. Oh, well, I know. Well, do you? Do you?
Exactly.
I can tell you I know that. I can tell you I know, oh, 2 + 2 equals 4 or whatever. But if I can't show you my work, do I really? It's
Exactly.
like we have to stop seeking inspiration and actually seeking, how do I change my behaviors with men? So if you are watching this and you are being inspired, that's great. But let me ask you this. What do your behaviors with men show you about you? And
That's
then work on changing that.
exactly. And it's so crazy because that question was the same question that I had got from my meditation instructor when she said that. And I was like, whoa.
Yep.
Like, even the fact that when we react and we do certain things, you got to think about, is we reacting because of what that person did, or we reacting to something within us that we haven't yet figured out or worked out. And it's something childhood. And I love the fact that you said knowing your triggers, knowing, knowing yourself stuff, because people don't know their triggers. And it's like, I'm so, oh my God, amazed to tell people, hey, that's my trigger. And please respect that. But a lot of people don't know that, because they just all over the place and don't even know what's going on. So they all of emotions because they don't have that emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
That, hey, that's a trigger, or that's a turn off, or either. Did you ever get to the fact where you heard women? Because I hear women. I was on Color Curve. Shout out to Color Curve podcast. Tori, hey boo. We did a podcast together, and she did a poll where basically women who said that setting boundaries and standards are toxic or controlling. And I say, really? I say, to me, if you go into a situation without having boundaries or standards, you're giving this person all reins to do whatever he or she want to do. And then you come out later and saying, oh, well, I got boundaries. But you ain't telling about the boundaries in the first place. You ain't even
Right. Yeah.
So, but they said it then says it comes off as controlling or toxic if you come off straight up from the door, giving a guy or a woman or whoever you start to date the boundaries and the standards. And I'm like, wow.
Right.
Fine.
First of all, not having boundaries is a breeding ground for toxicity. Secondly, for me, dating is just data collection. If we're interested in each other, no, I'm not about to give you a list of like, well, I don't want this and I don't do this and I don't like, again, when you don't, when there is no bitterness in your heart and you've actually worked on yourself, you now know how to teach people how to treat you.
I always say
That is it. Like, that's all I have to do. So when something, so like, for example, if a dude, so one of my biggest turnoffs, and it used to be my turn on, because remember, I used to love attention, when dudes mention my body first, like, damn, man, you got a fat ass, and da-da-da. I hate that. I hate you asking me for pictures. So I will nip that in the bud immediately and see how he responds. If he's like, you know what, my bad, I shouldn't have done that, da-da-da-da-da, maybe we can continue forward and see where it goes. But if he is like, what, dang, I was just trying to give it, or you can't just send me a picture, or you can't just, I cut it off, because now you're showing me who you are. And Maya Angelou said, when people show you who they are, believe them. And most of us can regurgitate that quote, most of us women, right? But we don't actually know how to apply that to our lives. And that's the problem.
And you want to know how I know that a lot of women don't know how to apply that to their lives, because a lot of women, and there's some men that show up and show that it doesn't apply. Because, for instance, I was once married. I divorced my husband because he cheated. That was a boundary and a standard for me that I was.
And we're done. Exactly.
But do you know, I got a lot of backlash from family members, friends, community, even college, friends, and everybody. And I mean, even when I first started my podcast and I brought the story up, and they like, what do you mean? Why you gonna divorce your husband for him just cheating on you? What do you mean? So you love him? I said, yeah, I loved him, but he loved me too. But he stuck his dick in another chick that he knew that was not my, that was my stand. I cut off.
And that was my, exactly.
Like, so I was so surprised that women was coming at me like that. I was like, oh, so that showed me basically you don't have standards. You don't have boundaries, but you the same person that's talking about, oh, you got to show people how to treat you and you got to teach people how
and
to
know yourself, know your worth, girl. Da 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 da. Yep.
You coming at me telling me I should have divorced my because he cheated outside our matrimony and I should up with him, probably punish him a little bit. But no, I divorced my husband knowing the fact he knew that was my boundary. He knew that was my standard. And also knew the fact that I wasn't tolerated. What you're not going to do with me is you're not going to put me in a headspace where I'm not that woman. Knowing the fact when people cheat on you, it changes you because now you're starting to question where you at, where you are, who you with, what you doing. That's not who I am. I am confident, strong, empowered woman that knows who she is from the crevice of the core. What you're not going to do is take that mental, emotional stability, revert it to a negative. So now I got to chase you and worry about and overtake you. And that's not who I am. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Well, let me on this platform, I don't know how long ago was it, but congratulations in you showing yourself that you love yourself and that boundary that you set. He crossed it and you was like, never mind. Because what typically happens, and listen, I have a few friends who have been cheated on by their husbands. It actually worked out because they worked as partners together to figure out what the issue is, and they worked it out. But the problem is, if that's not happening, this is what the majority of women will do. They'll do what they said for you to do. Why don't you stay? Maybe, punish him a little bit, and they stay. And you know what you just taught him? That you wasn't serious about that boundary.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, oh, okay, so I can cheat again. Cool.
Because that's exactly what I said on the podcast on my first season. I was like, so basically what you guys are doing is showing that he could cheat on you and that all he got to do is give you some roses, butter you up for a couple of weeks. So what he doing is learning how to fuck you over and do it all over again.
And get better at being sneaky.
Yeah, and you accept him back because when he start bringing the diamonds in his ring and diamond ring and all that extra good. No.
Yeah.
And you could tell when there's a woman who's really actually applying that to her life. Because listen, people don't realize that you could talk all you want, but your action shows up powerful in
you are your behaviors.
Than anything, because you could say black power, black woman empowerment. But if I just look back and be observant to your life, and I see that that's not how you living, that's telling me that you're not living right. You're not living.
Yeah.
Speaking.
Yeah. And
the two together though.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're always like, oh, respect black women, but are you respecting yourself, sweetheart? Why would he respect you if you're not respecting yourself, sweetheart? And so here's another thing that we do, right? Out of shame and settling out of shame, because we're faith-based women. We over spiritualize relationships. We have an underdeveloped, over spiritualized, over fantasized view of what love is. And so say he cheats on you or he does something that you didn't like and y'all are going through it. You start to feel bad because you think your job as a Christian woman is to forgive him and give him grace, and because that's what Jesus would do. No, he wouldn't. There is nowhere in the Bible that says forgiveness means you get to be a doormat. There is nowhere in the Bible that says you get to be a martyr for your relationship. God already died on the cross for us, so we don't have to go through that with somebody's dusty son. I don't have time. So if you don't have emotional intelligence enough to know that to be with me means that you cannot cheat, then I don't have time. Bye. And you know what? It also lets me know that the women that were talking about that and that you were surrounded with, their value is in the man. Again, a lot of women only feel valuable to this society if they are married with kids. That is the only way they feel valuable. So how dare you get a divorce, girl? You had the prize. What are you doing? And so they're freaking out because you decided to set a boundary. And it's also projection because they are jealous that they cannot do it themselves, because they have too much hope in this man than they do in the faith that God has something better for them. Period. End of story.
Come on. He just punched you in the gut.
I mean, that's what happens when you actually have your own relationship with God and you study the Bible for yourself, because what they'll tell you is, well, God hates divorce. And okay, well, the Bible also says that a reason to get a divorce is if somebody cheats on you, number one. Number two, even if you got a divorce just because you didn't want to be with him no more, you still not going to hell, period.
True indeed. Absolutely.
And I'm not saying that gives us a green light for us to be all around here sinning and doing whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just saying we have to have a reset. And before I challenge any woman that's listening to me right now, whatever situationship you are in, break up with that dude and use 2020 as a year to live single intentionally, to figure out who you are. Who are you? Who are you without a man, sis? Who are you?
Listen, I challenged them too. I challenged all the women that basically to make 2022 a whole single year.
A whole single year.
To end up basically finding themselves and see who they are. Because again, and that you just hit the nose right there on the head, where the fact is that when you say that a lot of women cannot function without being in a relationship, and I know some family members who are like that, and I was like, you pride yourself on trying to be like, oh my God, I need a man, I want a man, I'm looking for a man, I'm looking for a man, and it's like, damn, really?
And they project that all on you. Where your man? So Thanksgiving is coming up. How many of us are gonna get asked, so where your man at, baby? You's a pretty girl. Like, what is happening? Like that, because again, my value to them is only in a man. I'm like, do you want to talk about how Single You Academy is going? How about Single You the podcast? You want to give me some money from my 501c3? How about we talk about that? Exactly. Ask me anything else besides, and then I'm 38. So of course it's like, okay, well, your clock is ticking. We'll let it tick. Tick, tick, boom.
About the fact is that when I'm going to get married again, or going like who am I dating? Am I dating? When I'm going to date? Ask me everything else, because I have so much more than I'm going to do. You think about who I'm dating, who I'm going to bring to the Thanksgiving. Yep. If ain't no man worth to come to the Thanksgiving table, ain't nobody coming to this house.
I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing it. I cringe at the amount of times back in the day I'd be like, oh my God, I think he may be the one. Woo, woo, woo. But now I know that my vagina has no idea if he's the one or not. Like she don't know. She just want to have sex. So I've shut that side of me down. And listen, I feel like I always have to say this because a lot of men love to say that I hate men and this and that. I am not against marriage. I think marriage is beautiful. My parents have been married for over 45 years. They have a beautiful, happy marriage. Because I know there are a lot of people who have been married for 50 years and their marriage is trash. Let me tell you something. My dad ain't never cheated on my mom. I ain't got no extra. Me and my siblings have the same mom and dad. But anyway, I believe in marriage. Men are sexy, especially black men, especially all that. What? There is something that a man can bring to my life that I can't bring, but it does not mean, again, that I am less valuable because I don't quote unquote have that yet. Exactly. I just know who I am deeper than my favorite color is blue. I know what I want. I know how to get it. I have the audacity to believe that I can get it and the patience to wait for it. And guess what? If I die at 82, never have been married or had kids, I'm still going to heaven. And God will still say, well done, my good and faithful servant, period.
Absolutely. And that's the crazy, because another thing in regards before we close out is, because I know you have an appointment. So in regards to that, it's so crazy how black men could sit there and look at us because we now knowing ourselves and we see the bullshit.
Yeah.
We calling out the bullshit. We see the bullshit. I think what it is, they know that we realize and we see the bullshit. So they look at that. Well, he giving us that whole attitude and the negative, the energy and revert. And it's like, wow. And it's like, why do I hate men? I have a son. To hate. My son is 20 years old. Damn if I hate a black man. Right. I have a father and a grandfathers and fathers.
Yep. Yeah.
So I have uncles. So like you said, I believe that men, especially black men, the specimen of amazing, the melanin of a black man is beautiful.
Girl.
Especially when I see that they're growing, elevating it. They open and they sitting there also educating themselves and willing to understand the woman's specimen form of being very emotionally intelligent with themselves, as well as caring and loving to the woman. I got all respect for those type of men. So for
100%. Yep.
for me to be a boy mom and that what made me actually love and appreciate a man even more, even though I did because of my father and my grandfathers and stuff like that. But at the same time, me becoming a boy mom is what made me even deeply appreciate the Black man.
Yeah. And again, when you are healed and you go on your own journey, you understand that there are layers and levels to people. So you do give people grace. I just don't have to have you in my life. Like, I don't, like, where is that written? Like, a lot of men think we owe them a relationship. I don't owe you shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a commandment on my life. That's not a command. And unless you are coming to the table as an emotionally intelligent man who wants to grow and wants to be a partner, I don't have time anymore. What are we doing? What are we doing? I don't have time. And so a lot of men will say, oh, she's harsh or she's this. No, I just have my standards, and I'm actually trying to call you up to your higher self, call you up to who God wants you to be. And for me, because I know my purpose on this earth right now in this season is to be a light for single women and to help women understand that they are valuable and you are worthy regardless of your relationship status. That's my purpose. So I need a purpose partner. So I can no longer, and this is how, like, you know, iron sharpens iron. Me being a coach to my clients and having my podcast keeps my iron sharpened, because I want to be somebody who practices what I preach. I don't want to be a public success and a private failure. So now I'm like, I have a purpose, and the devil does. The devil wants me to fall so much because everything rises and falls on relationships. And you see how, like, society's warped mindset on what relationships are, because so many marriages fail and there's so much trash and cheating and toxicity and gaslighting and love bombing. So now society is like, well, I don't even know if that's for me. Like, or they think that's the game. So we just all out here playing checkers, right? Let me get him before he gets me, or what have you. So that is what the devil wants. That is what he wants. So we can all just fall and be just full of shame and whatever. I don't want that for my life anymore. I'm done. I ended that in 2017. We're done. So again, come to the table with an emotionally intelligent soul, mind, understand that emotions are not facts because your emotions are not facts. And then maybe we can have a conversation and start from there and decide, because it is a decision. Love is not, I don't fall in love with somebody. I make a choice to love them. Absolutely. And that's where I'm at right now.
And listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys definitely want that clarity and you guys definitely looking to know are to the premise of the core of who you are, please make sure you check out Reka's Single You Academy. Go to the link in her bio side, because I'm telling you one thing about knowing who you are and the clarity that comes behind it. And then I'm gonna tell you testimony before real quick is knowing that I work on myself and still, because I feel like as long as you living, it's gonna always be a journey of elevating.
100%.
The journey never ends. It's only get better and greater as we continue to go through the journey in the process. And you stand more in a beacon of light and more of a ball of just, greatness and the power that stands behind it. So in regards to that, because me doing the work in the process, and I haven't even took Reka's class.
Yep.
So listen, I want to definitely check it out. But the thing is, knowing the fact that you signed up for a class and to give me, and my testimony is the fact, because I spent those 5 years and continue to this day to work the process, trust the process, do my journey. I'm actually to be able to choose a wise, great man or someone that's going to match my standards, that appreciate my worth, that's not going to look at the fact of me being and saying in my sexuality or my womanhood as a threat. And also sit there and be able to appreciate it. So that's why I'm able to date who I'm dating now, because as Reka just said, having that man that comes to the table, because this right here, I always tell people, my podcast is not my hobby, it's my passion. Bring the unity back into our community, to have the uncomfortable conversations, to pull that rug from underneath our feet and no longer sweeping the shit under the rug and no longer talking about what we need to talk about. So that's my passion for me to shake the world up and be able to bring the unity back and delete the division that we currently have in this community of ours in the world. So in regards to that, this man I'm speaking to and dating now, he brings the same big purpose.
I'm jealous. I'm like, he got a brother, an uncle. Who he got? um,
The old me wouldn't be able to actually structure that out or see
yeah,
if I did not do the work. If
yeah,
my mind, my heart, my spirit, and everything in me and my who I didn't know myself in my core, if I didn't have the
yeah,
clarity. So, ladies,
yeah,
you guys go and do that, because I'm telling you, how we feel is exactly what we want you guys to feel. And it's
yeah.
men, if you find a guy that does it for the men, please go seek it out too, because I feel like you guys definitely need the clarity of just knowing how to select a great queen that
Yeah.
you of this king. So, but definitely go,
Yeah.
girl, you know, and make sure you listen. I always tell people support is free. It doesn't cost anything. But definitely go check out Single You Academy in the link in her bio. And you
Yeah.
thank me for bringing this amazing gift of a woman to this platform and introducing you guys to her, because she's a great, she fills my spirit and my soul.
No, thank you. I always find it, it's an honor anytime somebody invites me on their platform, especially because I know what it takes to build up your platform. So you trusted me with my voice and my messaging. And so I appreciate that about you. Thank you so much. And you fill my cup up too. So I will end on this. What she and I were talking about today is having a reset and actually building your foundation. And the Bible talks about that. What are you building your life on? What foundation? Is it cement or is it sand? Because when the winds come, okay, if you build it on sand, you will falter and you will continue to find value of yourself in a man. Okay. And so when you do the work, you build yourself on foundation, because like I said, I love men. I still desire a husband. Okay. But what I will not do in my times of loneliness, because there are still times, I stay obedient to the woman I am called to be, because now I know who I am. And I'm like, no, she wouldn't do. My future self is going to be mad if I do this. So I'm going to stay obedient to my call.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to do. And in order for me to do that, I have to continue to sharpen my iron and sharpen my tools of knowing that singleness is not a punishment, of knowing that I am worthy regardless of my relationship status. And I understand that sometimes you don't know where to start. And if you need somebody to help you with that foundation building, Single You Academy is for you. My professional woman, you in your 30s and 40s, and you are frustrated. You're a loyal woman. You're loyal to him, not to you though.
Exactly.
So if you want to be loyal to you, Single You Academy is probably for you, but we'll have that conversation. So all you got to do is send me a DM and we'll start the conversation. Because I have women apply to Single You Academy and I don't accept everybody. There's only a certain type of woman. If you want to be transformed and not just transactional, if you're not just curious and you actually want to be transformed by the renewing of your mind, I'm the coach for you. So hit me up. My DM is open, girl. It's open. Slide into my DMs.
Yes. So tell people basically where they can find you again, what you have up, and where they could go to be able to actually sign up for Single You Academy.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so like I have clients that are about to hop on Zoom right now. And if you want to be one of those clients, go ahead and hit me up in the DMs, singleyouacademy.com, spelled exact like YOU. So singleyouacademy.com has all of the information on my program. It is a 12-week program. It's up there. I have Single You, the podcast. You see everything is Single You. See everything is, because, play on words. Okay. So I have Single You, the podcast as well, where I have conversations just like this on the platform. And I am on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. There we go. Google, Spotify, every streaming platform or what have you. And then I do have Single You merch, which is pillows, decor, that have affirmations on it, because Mary Jane, remember when Gabrielle Union was Mary Jane and she had all her affirmations? Affirmations can be better than Post-it notes. Now they on pillows. Look, I don't know if you can see. That one says happiness, happiness over history. And that is on sale right now, just in time for Christmas, New Year, Valentine's Day, your birthday, your best friend's birthday, any day that ends with a Y. So those pillows, those throw pillows are on sale right now. So
thank you so much for coming through and for just, just blessing your presence to my listeners, my Pillow Talk with the T fam. And thank you so much. And thank you for trusting me to come on my platform to actually sharing your platform as well, and we connect and collaborating, because
Absolutely.
it's sometimes, but when you know it's right, you gotta trust it.
Exactly.
So much. So I'm gonna let you go because I have to go. And anybody from my platform, Pillow Talk with the T, please make sure you follow Reka, and anybody on Reka platform, follow Pillow Talk with the T, because honey, I give it in all the tea.
Yeah, she does. She does. And you got to stay encouraged in the space of being a single woman. So follow her, please.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
You have an amazing night. Have a great Zoom call.
Yes, ma'am.
Continue to enjoy the rest of your week. I appreciate it so much.
All right. Bye, girl. Bye.
So that was my amazing co-host, Reka Robinson from, she got the Single You Academy, where she basically just, have women sitting in, just learning the core of themselves. She have the Single You podcast. She also sit there and she have so much. She have the merch. She have so much. And I feel like anytime that the spirit aligns me with somebody, it's all on purpose, it's all on reasoning. So I always make sure that I share things that people I follow, people I look at or look up to, or either pour into me. I definitely want to bring them always on my platform to share with you, because sharing is definitely caring. So I definitely want to be able to give the women that same clarity that I stand in, the same power of knowing who you are, the same core, the premises of what is your purpose and your passion. So you guys make sure you go follow her. And again, you guys already know where you can find your girl at, here every Thursday, as well as other days throughout the week. Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live. And I'm on all major platforms, as well as on all social media platforms. And again, tomorrow night, I have another show that I am bringing to you guys tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the ladies from Empress Corner is coming in the building with me. And listen, we about to talk that amazing talk. So knowing the fact that it's 4 incredible, amazing ladies from the Empress Corner, we are going to be live on YouTube, not Instagram tomorrow, but live on YouTube. So you guys make sure you go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So when I go live, you guys can come in, engage, comment, share, like, subscribe, and be able to be a part of the conversation. Because as I always say, my platform is as much as your platform. So listen, and so come through, because we are talking that amazing conversation and that uncomfortable conversation. We definitely pulling the rug from underneath the feet and starting to be able to bring unity back into our lives, to our community, to the world. So you guys make sure you guys have any opinions or topics that you want your girl to hit on, make sure you end up emailing me at pillowtalkwiththet@gmail.com, because I do want to hear your feedback. I do want to hear your voice. I do want you to know that I see you. And I do also want you guys to know that your opinion matters to me. So I definitely want you guys to hit me up. And then also, I do have a segment that I added on to Pillow Talk with the T called Pillow Talk with the T Letter. So you have a situation, a problem, you want advice from your girl, the queen, Kwamia, and or either also advice from my guests that I have on that show, where I can read your letter and it will be anonymous, and you want my opinion, my advice, what would I do, or how you should figure it out, or what you should do, or how you should go into doing whatever it is that you may be struggling with, or whatever it is you may advise, or just want my experience of my opinion of my experience. Absolutely hit me up at pillowtalkwiththet@gmail.com. Send in your story, tell me your situation, tell me the issue, and I can read it live on Instagram or YouTube live during one of my shows. But again, I would definitely keep you anonymous, because I definitely appreciate my audience, my listeners, my fam, and I definitely also protect and keep your privacy definitely sacred and secret, and that's very much important to me. So you guys definitely do that. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. And yes, so basically, that's basically it for tonight's show. And again, I appreciate everybody from coming through, and I appreciate everybody from staying, and everybody who came through and left and came back again, and those who will be listening later. Again, I appreciate you guys. Have a great and amazing week, and I see you guys tomorrow night at 9 p.m. live on YouTube at Pillow Talk with the T YouTube channel, when we will have the ladies from the Empress Corner. We're going to have Erica, Tori, Shar, and Kels from the Empress Corner, and we are talking that amazing talk, and you don't want to miss this one. So you guys have an amazing night. I appreciate you guys, and peace.